Hi, it's Jamie from Evolution5. Today I want to make a brief video that follows up from the previous video we made, which was around tendering, and I believe the title was Chaos in Tendering or something very similar. Since making the video, we've had a lot of people connect with us and comment on the video. I've had a couple of telephone calls with people where what we were saying really resonated with them. And we've had some really interesting comments and feedback. It's very clear to me that this is a problem in construction and people are getting a bit tired of it. And we really do need to come up with not reinventing the wheel, but just better ways, more slicker ways, more efficient ways of tendering and procuring construction projects. I was speaking to someone this morning who I've known for quite some time, and they're looking at a project where it's a project that fits what they do as a business. And what they were saying is they have decided to pull out of this tender because they believe another contractor who they think will also bid for the tender will most likely win it because they've delivered a very similar scheme for the same client very recently. And I can understand, why they would pull out, and obviously that's a commercial business decision. But what I did say to them is, well, put your feet in the shoes of the other contractor. If you've just delivered a really good project for the client and the client and the end user are happy, why should you be expected to tender again? Now, it's become the norm. We just expect to tender every project. And my view was, well, if you were them, why shouldn't you be afforded the opportunity to negotiate? Whether this is private sector or public sector, and I understand the nuances of public sector, taxpayers' money and all the rest of it, but it should be about value for money. Yeah, not just the pence and the pounds. Yeah, it should be about value for money, and ultimately having the right person in the right place doing the right project, who already knows how the client works, already knows the requirement of the end user, has already delivered a slick process. Surely that is good demonstrable value for money. And also we have the expertise and the skills to be able to benchmark costs anyway. So I was kind of like, I understand why you've pulled out, but if you were the other contractor, you'd be asking the question, why have we got to go and jump back in the bear pit and bloody tender this project? It's crazy. And and that's why I made the last video, and that's why people are already commenting and getting in contact, because quite frankly, I'm going to say I kind of had enough of it, really. It's kind of, we need a slick process. We need to stop wasting money, stop wasting time, and drive for the optimum solution for our clients. And like I've said on previous video, ultimately the clients are paying for all this wasted time in the successful contractors bid in the future. So come on, we've got to do better. We must do better. So instead of just ranting like I've just done, I'll give you an example of what we're doing. So I'm not just ranting and saying all of this. I'll give you an example of what we're doing. So we have a client with a project in London. It's a community-based project, so it's reliant on community funding, donations, and it's obviously the buildings for community use. And they've got a project where budget is obviously key. That's not unfamiliar to anyone working in construction on construction projects. And because the budget and the uncertainty on what the first phase, and there's a reason I'm saying first phase, is going to cost, we very much advise the client that actually let's not go through a tender process. And the reason we've suggested not going through a tender process, even though that was their desire or that's what they were previously advised prior to our involvement, is, firstly, they don't know whether they're going to have the funds for the first phase. That's the first thing. Okay. So there may be some, we call it value engineering, but there may be a bit of tweaking of the scope, a bit of cost cutting, so they can get something delivered as part of their overall desire for the building, something delivered within their budget. So my view, or our view as a business, very much is, why go out to tender? Why waste tenderers' time if the project may never even go ahead or may not even get off the ground? then secondly, why expect people to then, during a tender stage, start tweaking and moulding your scope to what you may or may not be able to afford? We all know that there's this sort of cloak and dagger style approach to tendering where you don't really let people know what your budget is and, you know, and how long you want it to be. It's all sort of, as I say, it's all sort of, for some reason, it seems to be a bit cloak and dagger approach. So, you know, very much our view is let's take a softer approach and let's find the right partner, okay? And then once we found the right partner, they'd be willing to put in the time to work with you to develop the scope, what you can afford, maybe some shopping lists, then look at the phasing, because it's not just a case of saying it's this scope. The building is still got to be live and operational. You know, it's, as I say, it's a community building. So the way we've approached it and what we've suggested to the client, and if I haven't articulated this very well, forgive me, because I'm just sort of doing it straight off the bat here. But what we've advised the client is, look, let's shortlist some contractors that may be or are suitable to your project, but also the situation. And that's the bit we missed, the situation, the circumstance. So what we've got is we've got a short list of 3 contractors. All we've asked them to do is express an interest. So we've sent the information regarding the project, that the circumstance being the budget, and how we need to approach it, and the fact that we need some engagement with VE and, if you like, value engineering. So first stage is, do we have 3 interested parties? Which in this case, tick, we do. We have 3 contractors with demonstrable experience delivering this type of work within the budget. The next stage, a really short PQQ. When I say short, 4 pages, a form, fill out, due diligence, making sure assurances are in place, good financial history at this, not just history at this moment in time, capturing the demonstrable experience, etc., etc. Okay, so we know what PQQs are, pre-qualification questionnaires. So again, not a lot of time we're asking for the contractor to spend at this stage, but enough that should the client move ahead with one of those contractors, the due diligence has been done. The next stage, it's assuming all those PQQs meet the criteria of which we would expect it to meet. So then the next stage will be meeting on site with the client so the contractor can demonstrate their understanding of the project, how they would work with the client, how they would do the value engineering, how we would work together to develop the scope, how we would work together in terms of agreeing the cost through negotiation, how we would work in terms of market testing, subcontractor quotations, benchmarking, etc. Then after that exercise, and I understand this is subjective, not objective, but after that exercise, the client will then decide who from that engagement, who they believe they can work with. And then we will then move forward with that contractor as a preferred contractor to agree the final scope, to agree the price, and to agree the terms of the contract. And that is the way we've approached a situation, rather than just straightforward, let's tender it. And I have no idea how we would ever get the right contractor through a traditional single stage competitive tender when we don't know what that final scope and cost is going to look like. And who are we going to ultimately get? What, the lowest price? Is that really the best contractor for our client? I think we all know the answer to that. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found value in the video. If you've got any questions or want to know anything more, please get in contact, and we really look forward to hearing from you.